What do we mean? What do you mean? What do people mean when they say vibe coding?
And it's almost democratising building companies a little bit.
Well, so I've described it to some people as software that writes software.
And I think as well, you're going to start to see the companies that adopt this are going to start to drive competitive advantage, I think.
Imagine what system could fix that problem.
Yeah.
And this is where AI is going to increase productivity. Good morning.
Morning.
What's up?
What's up? Well, what is up? I was up a ladder this morning.
Oh, I love that link. I didn't even know that.
That's a good
You were up a ladder. Funny enough,
up a ladder.
I was up a ladder this morning.
Yeah.
What's the chance of that?
Yeah.
I was getting something out of a high cupboard.
Yeah.
Getting a sleeping bag out of a high cupboard. What were you up a ladder for?
I was up a ladder harvesting apples.
Oh, is that early?
Well,
July.
We have had an abundance of apples from the apple tree that you bought for Ethan, actually.
Oh, well, how about that?
So I was going to
That
bring...
tree is as old as he is. Well, maybe slightly older if it's planted before. I bought it as a tree.
But yeah, so I had loads and loads of apples hanging over the fence. So I was recovering them.
Are they eaters or cookers?
They're eaters. They're very nice, actually. I was meant to bring some in. I'd even put some in a little bag and I left them at home.
Well, the thought was there. It's the thought that counts.
The thought was there.
I did that once, when I first moved to Shropshire 20-some years ago. We got an apple tree. I took a bag of apples into work, so I thought it'd be a nice thing to do. Turns out everybody's got apple trees, and they all looked at me a bit funny. Yeah, we got some of those too.
Yeah, just moved from a city.
So I ended up taking them home again. But my apples aren't ready yet, especially not the eaters. I've got a cooker apple tree and an eating apple tree. I wouldn't be ready to.
These are good.
All right.
An abundant
I'll bring some
crop,
in then.
An abundant crop. They're all red as well. They've got that kind of red.
Ooh.
It was very arty. I took some photos. It was very
You've not shared those yet. You've been very restrained. So we're both up a ladder this morning. Fancy that. So what is up? There you go.
What is up?
You and me. Time to...
the early bird climbs the ladder, as the new saying goes.
As the phrase will from now on go.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Preacher,
Okay.
heal thyself.
Don't get me going on that. I think that's a helpful one. I think there's a whole art to misremembering quotes and idioms.
Mangling metaphors.
Yeah, it gets the message across. Anyway, should we do a podcast?
Yeah.
Give us an idiom for that. Hello and welcome to another episode of the SME Growth Podcast from Wellmeadow. Every week we try and come up with something interesting, new, useful, funny, or just something worth sharing with your colleagues or reflecting on yourself for the purposes of people who own or manage SME businesses. So this week, it won't surprise you to know that sitting opposite me is Richard.
Hello.
Hello. We are in the middle of holiday season, so there are going to be a few guests splattered around, but for the moment we're hanging on in there and we're managing to find time where we're both in the office at the same time. So another podcast is born.
Keep going.
So which number are we on?
133.
You're the scorekeeper. 133.
133. Who would have
brilliant.
thought?
And here we are deep into August as we talk. So I keep saying in time-honoured fashion, that's getting a bit hackneyed. Give me another phrase of saying that. But what were the last 3 episodes? How did we get here?
So episode 132, how to sell your business. That was a guest.
Oliver Audley, who's great. Yeah, brilliant. Very clear. So it's a good subject, actually, because a lot of people ask that and that's the problem. A lot of people don't ask that, but should. They need to know it. And it's sort of like an area like finance, really. People are almost embarrassed to admit that they're not as clued up on these things as they should be. They think you should be. Kind of that imposter syndrome thing. And so I invited him in just to sort of give a basic, what's that all about? What's MBOs? What's EOTs? What's earn-out mean? What's EBITDA mean? What are multiples and all that? So he covered all of that very, very well, I thought.
I think often it's something that people think about too late, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. If they're actually trying to sell a business, yeah.
The run-up to it is actually...
But even the other way around, they've got younger growing businesses that are looking to acquire. Yeah. So you need to know about how it all works so you don't get taken for a ride by some consultants that tell you what they want you to think.
Buying and selling.
Yeah. 2 ways of making money.
Basics of business there.
So that was 132.
That's 132. 131 was about when is remote working not working? A commentary on the current state of the UK workplace.
And we did declare our opinions on that one. But it was based on a bit of research that was done, wasn't it? Publicised in HBR, Harvard Business Review, talking about some of the data that's now coming out now that we've had a few years and we'll learn more as we go by.
Goodbye.
I think the conclusion was you can't put the genie back in the bottle, but that doesn't mean it's all okay. So you've still got to manage it. There are problems.
And then 130 was CRM setup stories. So we talked about
the horror stories.
The good, the bad, the ugly, the horror stories. So when CRM goes wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And I still come across people in some of our early discussions, we get introduced to companies and all that, who maybe have tried CRM before and didn't get on with it, didn't make it work. And you think, well, it's probably not the software's fault, given that there's hundreds of thousands of companies out there, millions maybe, using some form of CRM or other, all the different ones available. If you didn't get it work, maybe it's a you problem.
Who was I talking to the other day that started on Act? I can't remember.
Sage Act.
Sage Act. Now that probably was the software's fault.
Yeah, okay. But that was probably just an address book.
I mean, early days.
Goldmine, remember?
Goldmine,
wow. But they were just like, I move on from Rolodexes, which we've said before. Who even knows what Rolodex is? You're under 30.
Same. But yeah, so those are some good ones.
So that was 132, 131, and 130. Do you have a blast from the past, an old one you want to?
I haven't really.
Remind people.
Really.
Well, pick a number and they can go look it up.
108.
108.
Dirty data. I only know that because I've just sent that episode to somebody in an email to say, have a look at this.
So if you're worried about your data, or you just like listening about dirty data.
Dirty data.
Or I like listening to Richard say it.
I just always think I just channel my inner Bob Hoskins.
And as you said before, I think of Dirty Den. But
dirty data.
It's an EastEnders straight away from me.
Yeah.
Right. So they were the last three. Good. So today's episode, as people will know, if they've well, sometimes maybe they don't read the title on their Apple podcast.
They might not understand it because I put this into ChatGPT to get a few ideas, and it thought that we're going to talk about vibe coding.
Vibe coding.
And what it gave me.
Go on then. What did it come up with?
It was about how to create good vibes, how to code the vibes into an organization.
Okay. That's a bit literal.
So it was.
Now I've seen a couple of things on LinkedIn recently talking about vibe coding, and I'm sure I saw some other feed about it. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
So we thought we'd talk about it. Having said it's a thing, and it's been around for, well, in varying degrees for a while. When I say a while, these days a while is a few months, right?
Yeah.
But maybe a year when I look at some of the software products we're coming to look at, and probably before that in some other form. But it's definitely with the advent of AI. You only really introduced me to it a couple of weeks ago. And I think I mentioned it in a previous podcast. You have caused me to spend so much time down this particular rabbit hole.
Well, I knew I was going to release the beast as soon as I...
You did release the beast, yeah.
So I thought, well, I best pick my moment as to when I actually...
You don't need me to do anything else.
present this thing. And in fairness, I'd only come across it. I don't know how. I think I'd maybe seen it on LinkedIn or something, or someone sent me an email or something like that. Sent it me, and then I had a look at it, and I was blown away by it. And I thought, here is something that is...
Do you know what that tells me, though? We've both seen that on a social feed of some sort, and it's probably going to be one of a million messages. We say, okay, not a million, but a lot of messages we both read. And as soon as we both saw it, we hooked onto it. And it wasn't because necessarily, I don't know what you saw, but I got it from you. It wasn't because necessarily the message was well crafted or they had a great image or logo or anything. Yeah. It's the idea. The idea is different. It's not just another version of something that I need to compare with like lookalikes. The idea of vibe coding. So let's just start, I suppose, with a bit of a definition for people. What are we even talking about? We're not coding the vibe.
No.
Bottling the atmosphere.
But I have kept that idea for another podcast.
How to bottle the atmosphere.
How to get the vibes into the organisation.
Okay, I like that.
Which is anyone who knows us will think that's probably going to be an interesting episode.
That might be a Christmas special. So it's not that. What is it then? What do we mean? What do you mean? What do people mean when they say vibe coding?
Well, I guess it's maybe the vibe bit is a bit of a Gen Z-ism.
Yeah.
But it's about using natural language prompts. So just
like we're talking
how what we speak.
Yeah.
And
like what we do.
Which we speak, and you tell that the AI, a bit like, people be familiar with ChatGPT, just asking it a question.
Yep.
And it goes away and creates the code for you and creates a product.
Yeah. And not just creates a page of gobbledygook code that you then don't know what to do with, but it actually works.
It creates
it hosts it, and it makes it all with the user bits and bobs
buttons
and the display
press,
and the
things
button.
to happen.
So I've described it to some people as software that writes software. And the first bit of software that writes the other bit of software is that natural language interface. Yeah. So you've got a natural language interface to a piece of software that then writes another piece of software.
Yeah.
So both of us are interested in coding, but we're not coders. We haven't got a clue. We'd be dangerous. In fact, we've proven in the past that we are dangerous. Don't trust us to do your coding. It's not what we're here for.
Yeah.
Other people are very good at that.
But what really got me excited about it was that for so long you have ideas and it's quite hard to bring them to life, particularly in a software environment if you don't have coding. And what I should have done is looked up the episode we did on how to build a SaaS company. But there is one somewhere. If you delve through the archives of the podcast,
search for SaaS.
There is a episode where we talk about SaaS.
And we talk with some honesty about the pain we went through in creating our own SaaS product.
Create our own SaaS product, Magic Minutes, which we've talked about before.
With employed coders, subcontractor coders, outsourced stuff. Oh my goodness.
And cost.
3-year journey.
And cost and time and interpretation.
It was a large 6-figure cost. I try not to think about it too much.
Vision into reality, all of those kind of challenges that come with that. And then all of a sudden there's this piece of software that you could go, okay, this is what I'm thinking. And it creates something. You think, well, I wasn't quite thinking about it like that. Change this, and it changes it. And so my first stab at it was to look at an old strategy tool that we had where we used to put posters on the walls. Some people listening will have been
subjected
to the...
I wondered if you were going to say that. Enjoyed the process.
To the process.
Yes.
And it was effectively... poster on the wall with
putting post-its on it, wasn't it?
Post-its on it based on those questions with a view of prioritizing what you should, move you toward the vision and what, how important things are and how good you are at them, that type of thing. So I thought, I wonder whether we can recreate this. And within 30 minutes of doing other things in amongst prompting this code, I had a workable product. And I thought, this is absolutely
you showed me that,
amazing.
And I was blown away once again, the concept. The execution was also good, but the fact that you were able to do that, as you say, while you were doing other work, just give it that. And there's so many things then that triggered on, because I then wanted to have a go. So I logged in as well. And I don't know why I chose this particular application, but I tried to do some sort of booking system for a circuit training class that I go to where people have to host and different people are providing refreshments and sometimes the PT isn't available. Anyway, there was a number of different moving parts. And within the space of 6 hours, I'd produced an app, a web app that managed it all.
Yeah.
And it was great. The look and feel was nice. It was pretty slick. I'd ironed out all sorts of little problems with it.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, all I did was talk to it, saying, I'd like an app that does something like this and looks a bit like that.
Yeah.
And then when it does it, invariably it's not quite what you want. So you give it another prompt to push it closer in the direction. And rather than with our developer, God bless Adam, if you're out there listening, Adam, we'd love having you here, but it would take 2 weeks for any normal coder to do a sprint and build some features in and error check it and test it out, something. But the answer would come back in 2 minutes. Yeah. Which is, like you say, you were doing some other work. Come back in 2 minutes. Oh, yeah, okay, thanks for doing that. But now I've seen that, can you just do this? All right, that's a bit sorted, now fix that bit.
Yeah.
So every, 2 to 5 minutes, you're pushing the product forwards.
Yeah. And also, I think there's often that bit where you're trying to translate what's in your head to give instructions to somebody else. And oftentimes you don't quite know what you want anyway.
Yeah.
And with this, it's so iterative and so quick that you look at something and go, no, that's not why I want that. Yeah. That doesn't work. Or actually, I need that bit of functionality and a button to do that. Great, here we go.
But do you remember there was software we used, I think it was during Adam's time or maybe one of the subcontractors, where they would mock up user interfaces for you using special software that came up with realistic looking buttons and drop downs and all that. And it would sort of be semi-functional wireframe, but with some interactivity. And sometimes it would change to a different view. You think, well, I've virtually built the blinking thing here in the simulation. Well, this does for you is say, cut that bit out, just build it. Yeah. And when it does something that you don't want or didn't expect, change it.
Yeah. So we're quite excited about this vibe coding.
Well, it's a new thing for us. A couple of questions then, I suppose, for listeners is, are we just nerding out here because we like the idea of suddenly pretending that we can code when we can't because AI is filling that gap? Is this a real business tool or is it just something that people are going to have a little bit of play with and go away? It's definitely the former. Yeah. There are people that are creating apps now that are making money from them and they don't know how to code. Yeah. And you can spin something up and put a payment system in it, have users sign up. And if you've thought of a good idea, you could be earning money from it tomorrow. Yeah. That is just astounding. So that's from an entrepreneur startup. But let's say you're in an established SME business, which we are and our clients are. You're not probably quite in that. You're not looking to get brand new customers to do a brand new thing with you just because you've had an idea. Yeah. You've got to think, well, how do I use this to fit into your current business? How does it help me do something I'm doing already? So that's an intellectual leap that I think people have got to go through.
And I think I've had a number of meetings recently where we've been talking about this whole, how do we incorporate AI into the business? The vibe coding thing obviously then comes up.
Yep.
And almost in the meetings, so I had a board meeting yesterday where we actually were vibe coding stuff.
Oh, we're doing it live with them?
Doing it live with them.
Just showing off. There you go.
Just showing, well, what's your problem? Okay, come up with 2 or 3 challenges you've got. I don't know, timesheets or something. How we, it's all done on spreadsheets and it's not the way I want it.
Well, that's a good start. Anything you're doing on a spreadsheet or a bit of paper.
So it's like, right, okay, create us a timesheet. What are the parameters? What do you want to have? And it wasn't perfect, but then we were having a conversation in a board meeting about something else as it was coding away in the background. And by the end of it, and I think some of this is not actually about the coding per se, it's about unlocking the art of the possible within the business. And I think you could actually use it to drive some change. So we were talking about this at another client. Could you run a strategy session using these vibe coding tools, bearing in mind it's $20 a month to use the one that we're using, base 44.
Yeah.
If you have the basic
I think I've
level,
upgraded to $50. Did I not tell you?
You run out of prompts. But imagine you had a strategy day where you had a competition, put people into teams of 3, come up with business ideas, and then, whereas before you just write it on a flip chart and go, well, that's nice, we'll think about this again
and
next
then
year.
never get around to do it. Yeah.
This time you can say, no, actually, let's build a product. What do you think this could look like?
But you described that, following on from your thought there, you described having a session with the team where you almost give them all 20 quid each and say, right, you've got 100 prompts now, or however many, I think it's 100. In that 100, come up with something in your small teams that would help our world. And maybe is it an efficiency? Like you say, can we do our expenses forms better or do our time recording or book out meeting rooms or just something that happens internally? Or for the customer facing people, what could we do here that customers would enjoy having? Can we get them to help configure their products that they buy from us or do some sort of service agent to find out where is the progress of their job or give us ideas or give us feedback or, just don't constrain your thinking. Just start brainstorming.
Because I think a lot of people in business get stuck in a rut. This is how we do things around here. These are the parameters that we've got to work within. Everything kind of tomorrow.
Well, I think the business is made up of 2 or 3 different types of people. There's that joke about binary, isn't there? The world is made up of 10 people, those that understand binary and those that don't. But it only works when written down, really, because it's not really 10. But anyway, there's some people in businesses, you can't stop them. They're having thoughts all over the place, and only if we could do this, they're real disruptors. But I can't help feeling that the people around them are often annoyed by them because there are another group of people that actually quite like the security of knowing how things are done around here. And if they've invested a certain amount of brain power in learning all these different systems and remembering them, someone else coming along saying, oh, there's a better way of doing that is annoying. It's the last thing they want. So trying to get the balance between those two has always been tricky. And arguably this could make that a bit more tricky because your innovative, creative, system-breaking people are going to be able to do even more of it. So there is a kind of a warning sign around it.
Yeah.
But you could do new stuff, right? You don't have to just change existing systems. And maybe if you offer that as an assistance, you say, right, what really bugs you? Oh, well, it's every month I've got to take all these bits of numbers and I've got to put them in there and look them up there and do that bit with it and put it and give someone else a report on that. That's a real pain. Right, okay. Well, let's sort that then. Let's take that pain away. How long does that take you? Oh, a couple of hours a week. Right. There we go. Well, I'll free up a day a month.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. So now everybody can be a coder.
And I think as well, you're going to start to see the companies that adopt this are going to start to drive competitive advantage, I think.
Well, as with other AI things as well.
Right? Yeah. And I think that's just an inevitability. Yeah.
And you can get it to link into any other cloud-based system. So we're using it to link into our CRM systems. Regular listeners might have picked up on the fact that every now and again we mention the word HubSpot.
Yep.
But other CRMs are available and they all have great APIs, which is the back-end coding thing for those that don't know what that is. So you can do stuff with data in another system. I was thinking the other day, time recording here, it's easy to time record against a project that's live because you just use the interface in Outlook or do whatever you want. But as soon as you have a new task that isn't a project already, you just want to log some time, there's actually quite a few clicks to make that happen using ClickUp, which is our project management tool. I think, wouldn't it be great just to have a little interface that sits there on your screen and you just type it in and poof, it's done. It doesn't matter whether that is suitable to someone else or not because you could create that really low cost, just use it yourself.
Yeah.
solves your problem.
Yeah, personal productivity as well, doesn't it? It doesn't necessarily have to be for everybody else.
Yeah. And in the past,
build your own tools.
So you wanted to create an app to do that, you'd be thinking, well, that's going to cost me, there's a price just to start these projects of $5 or $10 or something. And then they always go on, as we know, to our cost. Well, imagine if you could do that for $20.
Yeah.
Then all sorts of things. People would spend time developing a spreadsheet and probably get carried away with color coding and conditional formatting and maybe even getting a bit advanced with it. Well, don't. Get the AI to do it for you.
Exactly.
It's brilliant. So we're using it for integrating with CRM and that sort of thing, but you could use it to produce quotes. And I know there's dedicated software out there to do that, but if you wanted to give it a go first, your own way, generate your own one.
Yeah.
We got a client that does furniture, quite technical furniture. In fact, if you can see on the camera, this table in front of us has got power sockets on it and HDMI sockets and different mounts and brackets. Imagine if you needed to position them all in different places. Up to now, that would be a conversation over a Teams meeting. Someone produce some drawings, send it back and forth to the client, get sign off, work out whether it's technically possible or not. Imagine if you just had a discussion with the expert to say, well, where are the constraints? How close to the edge can I put a hole? How close to each other can they be? How far from the end can the power socket be? Give me the rules. I'll build it into an app, send that to the client, get them to just drag and drop features around a desktop, click the button to say, that's me, I've done it, choose your color, boom, done. Put the work back on the client, give them control.
Yeah.
We could do that for that client within 24 hours. I'm pretty confident we could do it now. And it will be a workable, usable solution that they could actually use live with clients, not a prototype.
That is crazy, isn't it?
Incredible.
It's just
absolutely incredible. So we've been doing something around this. I've got myself well into a solution, which I think we're going to do another podcast on, because we may have talked before about our 6-box model. Have we talked about that before on a podcast?
We may have mentioned it. I don't know if we've
we
gone
dropped
into
it in
detail
enigmatically to a previous conversation.
2-box, 3-box, 4-box.
And it's grown. We're going to stop it at 6, right?
Yeah.
So our 6-box model is our view of the world of how marketing and sales and go-to-market and roll-ups all sort of fits together. So if you Google Wellmeadow 6-box, then you'll find it as a picture of it. So we decided, how do we make that picture come to life? And sure enough, I've created an app that made it come to life. You hover over the boxes, it comes up with extra tools that you can answer questionnaires on it. It can build in numbers sucked out of your CRM to build KPI dials and outputs and flows and all sorts of clever little things. Put a notifications panel on the side so that as things happen in your CRM, it picks out the ones you're interested in and puts them in kind of a news feed. A load of settings. And it works.
No, it's snazzy.
And okay, that was a bit more complicated than the exercise class booking thing. But I was trying to add up the hours the other day. I think it's about 30 hours. So in less than a normal week of work, and for 50 quid, I've produced an app that I think we could now easily use with clients. And before long, you could almost imagine, is that a commercializable product?
Yeah. So I think it does just open up so many possibilities, isn't it? New business models, new ideas.
Well, another idea that I'd like to move on to next is the what we call the accounts viewer, or the graphical, what do we call it? Graphical P&L?
Graphical P&L.
And we've rolled this out to lots of clients where you get the accounts and you squirt them in through, at the moment it's a spreadsheet, which is a bit clunky, and it turns all of your key numbers into graphs. Yeah. With last year's numbers, budgets, forecasts. And it's done in a particularly clever way that it makes it quite readable.
It's like a visual view of the accounts, isn't it?
Yeah. And the feedback we've always had from directors around a table is that now I understand the accounts because I've seen that. Yeah. And the FDs can never get it. And I've had this discussion only recently with an FD who says, what's the point? The accounts tell you all that anyway. Yeah. I know they do because you're familiar with seeing them that way. But for the rest of us that deal in more visual ways,
you know where to look.
They know where to look. Yeah. And when it's actually quite complicated to do accounts. You've got so many different dimensions because you've got different lines of the accounts, different time periods to look over. Then you kind of compare that to your forecast, your budget, your last year, all that stuff. So anyway, so that I thought that would be ripe for development. And now that I can, well, maybe in a dozen hours or so, I could recreate that into something that would live online as a usable product. Have you had any thoughts for things that you might want to?
Well, I've got a couple of ideas that I'm working on, but one, what I was showing it to someone the other day, and I think this is the point of, you're probably more into it from the technical point of view, I guess, aren't you? The coding point of view. You're of that mindset than me. And
I guess that's born of the fact that when I was a teenager, back when computers first started appearing in the home, the ZX80, if anybody is old enough to remember that was in 1980, funnily enough. I had to earn for my paper round 50 quid to buy my first computer. It was a big day.
You had a paper round?
That's
showing the kids the that Monty Python sketch.
Tell the kids that
Lived
today.
in a house.
Yeah. Get up 6 a.m, lick road clean with bare tongue. So I had a paper round and I saved me 50 quid and I got a computer and I learned how to do basic programming, which these days is no good, but it's what led on to VBA. And then I lost track. I fell off the peloton. The coding world moved on and I went into business. But it meant that I had that early experience of something, which I was very aware that I couldn't do anymore. And I think there's probably quite a few people in business, if they can't keep up with the latest trends, because things are changing so fast, you do just fall off the peloton. Yeah. You can't do it. And this has suddenly given me that.
So now you're on this little scooter, aren't you now?
Catching up. I got a motor I got an engine. I got an e-bike catching up on the Tour de France. This is easy. So I suppose that's where, for me, you're right. It's more of a techie thing. What were you going to say?
For me, I like the idea of how you can change thinking with it. And so I was showing a client the other day when they came in, and just after I'd found it actually, so I was about 1 day in, so I had the zeal of the convert. Yeah, so I was like, everyone I meet, I'm going to tell.
Well, I think we still have. In a month's time, we'll do a follow up.
And I said, if you're interested in AI, come and have a look at this tool. Yeah. And he was thinking about he's 5 different bits of software he was trying to consolidate into one thing, and he was like, this might cost me £250,000 to do, or whatever it was going to be. And he just looked at this piece of software and thought, well, actually, I can probably get a long way there, even if it's look and feel design. So he goes, how does it work? And I had a cup of coffee on the desk. So I said, I don't know, let's just, depending on what mood I'm in, make me, suggest a coffee for me. Yeah. And within 2 minutes, it would come back with, here's your personal barista. And depending on, it had a load of different moods, you angry,
happy. It had come up with the name
personal barista, which I was like, that's pretty cool. And then when you clicked on one, it was a very simple app. You clicked on one and it kind of opened up some suggestions of different types of beans of coffee. And we both almost had this sort of eureka moment at the same time where we looked at each other and thought, you could build a business off this. Yeah. Because imagine you just went around your local town and got all the local coffee shops to say, do you want to be part of this app? And then depending on what mood people are in, they pick it. It shows you where you can get your coffee from. Yeah. Do you want to buy it now? Apple Pay, go and pick it up. And I just thought, this is crazy. Within the space of 10 minutes, you've just come up with what is probably a reasonably viable business model off the back of some, I don't know, look at a coffee cup maker. Well, if you actually started thinking seriously about this, you could build some neat little businesses.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
And it's almost democratizing building companies a little bit.
Well, I think AI is going to democratize, using your good phrase there, lots of things, like access to legal advice, for example, or buying and selling companies, or real estate, or whatever. Why not do that on coding? Coding forever, you've needed a coder, and they're not cheap, and they're also hard to come by, even if you can afford them, and the process is clunky. Well, suddenly make it so that you can do most of it yourself. I think we'd probably still advise that you go to a coder if you're going to properly commercialize it and get it done properly, because then you want to host it in your own space on AWS or Microsoft Azure or wherever, somewhere in the cloud. And then they can check the security and all that. But actually, out the box, they're pretty good. It's not as if it's so flaky you couldn't use it.
So that ability to get to the MVP, or minimal viable product, or minimal saleable product, or whichever bit that you want to, whichever phrase you want to use, is now so much quicker and in the hands of the business owner.
Well, not just that product. Like you say, you couldn't help but, for that example, come up with something that someone else could relate to. They weren't in it. But if you're inside your business and you're talking to other people that have problems, say, right, well, let's imagine what system could fix that problem. Yeah. And this is where AI is going to increase productivity, because we can not just ask it answers to things like people use ChatGPT for now, but build systems that it takes whole tasks away.
And I think it's that process, a bit like, remember strategic Lego play? You've done that.
I remember that.
Sort of using metaphors and using different ways of, it's almost like using your hands unlock something in your brain, isn't it?
Kinetic effect, kinesthetic. Yeah.
And I think you've almost got this with this. So imagine you're trying to solve a business problem. Why don't you try and solve it by building a product? And even, I think the questions you'd have to ask, and, even if you didn't come up with a product with using the AI coding that actually worked or did what you wanted to do, I think the process of going through that journey is going to just open your eyes to other things, probably come up with a load of other suggestions.
There's something magic that happens, and maybe there'll be some research on this, or but from the armchair layman point of view, that ability to say something and then it appears and you can then correct it. Imagine I was trying to get an architect to design my house, and I got the first draft within 2 minutes and say, oh, no, I want that extension bigger. No, can you move the garage across? Can you make another floor on it? Can you give it a basement? Oh, no, I don't like that. Can you move that wall a bit? And every one of those things just happens instantly. Or you're creating a song or something, or a painting, just that ability.
I think it's going to make us really impatient.
Are we not already?
Yeah, probably.
I think so. I think we are. There's probably some words of warning just to close out. I think I'm taking the version that I'm creating to almost the breaking point of where the AI is at the moment. And don't forget, it is just AI. It's not an actual expert coder. It's just been trained on loads of people who are expert coders.
Yeah.
So certainly when you're starting out and you're building it out, it's pretty good. I would say the hit rate is pretty high. 9 out of 10 prompts comes up with something. And when it doesn't, it's easy to fix. By the time you've got a reasonably complex product that you've iterated to what that point is, the risk of it fixing one thing and breaking another starts to increase. And I've found that more and more. And this is where it's been very frustrating. I've used lots of my credits to fix its own mistakes. And I've ended up jumping out of it, taking its code, because it gives you the raw code, put that into ChatGPT and say, why is this not working? Get it to come up with actually a pretty good answer, feed that back into, in our case, Base 44 or Revlit is another one. And then it says, oh, yeah, that's good. I'll fix that then.
So of your 30 hours, what do you think the rework?
Oh, half at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine when they get that fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's certainly a rework of it. And that's when you're taking it to the more complex, that's where you don't need to be a coder, but you need to at least use the right sort of words to describe the problem so that it's at least got a chance to do something with it.
I was going to say, it's not like a magic wand, is it? There's still some logic that has to be. So I found that you've got to almost write your syntax, for want of a better word, isn't it? But make sure you're very clear with it. Who is the user?
Very clear, yeah.
Give it the definition. So who's the user? Who, don't then change that to be people later on or something like that. You've got to keep it
that's not so bad. I've made those sorts of changes and it's okay. But I think what's happened is the way I've changed the description of what it's supposed to do, it's made earlier elements that it's built redundant and replaced them with others. Yeah. So you get this sort of legacy, I think they call it technical debt. Yeah. That's what Yevgeny used to call it for us. He taught us that. And so you almost need to get to the point where you've prototyped what you want, but it's been built iteratively and go back and start again. And a lot of it relies on that very first prompt. If you can be very comprehensive at that stage, so you're not making your mind up as you go along anymore, you've now made your mind up and you go back and start again. So it would be interesting, just as an experiment, in one prompt, how close could I get to the finished product that's taken me 100 prompts by just describing very accurately what I've ended up with.
Yeah, I wonder if you could use something like ChatGPT to refine the prompt before you get going. How do
there is advice to do that.
To minimize technical debt within the application.
Yeah. And so another tip is, so use ChatGPT if you get stuck and feed that back into the solution. Take constant snapshots of the code, because I found that sometimes it gets stuck in a loop and it can't fix a mistake it's made. So I can go and dig out one of the things I downloaded yesterday, give it that, say, well, it worked yesterday. This is what it looked like then. Don't revert to that, but use whatever the differences are and still put in the changes you've made since. And 99 times out of 100, that's been good. It says, oh, right, I see what I've done. Yeah, I'll fix that then. So it's bizarre. I do find myself talking to it, though, as if it is a human. I get angry with it. I get pleased with it. I'm thanking it. I'm saying, please. I mean, this is crazy. It's just a bloody large language model.
Number one use of AI, therapy and companionship.
Yeah. And it's programmed to be very nice to you. It says, oh, you come up with a brilliant idea. Oh, that would be an excellent improvement to the user experience. That would be great. Oh, I can see that's going to be really useful. You are very clever.
It's when you started referring to Hal the other day that I got a bit concerned. I thought, oh, goodness. It's gone native.
It's okay. Space Odyssey 2000. Go and look at that one.
Security as well is probably just another thing to mention, isn't it? If you are passing API keys around, make sure that you don't just go and paste that into some. Yeah,
there's a certain amount there where you've got to have a modicum of common sense as well, even if you don't know the details. And ask it all the time. How secure is it? Yeah. And there's even a built-in button that says, give me a security check. So I'll do that for you. There you go. Vibe coding, or software that writes software.
I've just had good vibrations going through my head the whole time.
Beach Boys,
surfing, little longboard 60s.
Saw them live.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I know, that's how old I am.
Wow.
It was about
Didn't they stop?
1989 or something. They were still,
really? They're still going?
Still touring, yeah.
Wow.
My mate's uncle did the merch for them.
Oh, right.
So he'd tour all around Europe selling T-shirts. So I got to go along with him once.
Wow.
dates me. I'm sure I've seen even older bands than that. You'd be horrified.
Well, I was once in a lift with Rick Wakeman.
Really?
Of I don't know what band he was in, but
you're trying to test me now.
But my dad was like, "That's Rick Wakeman," and I was like,
"You wouldn't know."
Looks like a guy with a beard to me,
right?
But claim to fame.
It was not much of a claim, really, is it? You discounted your claim as soon as you made it. Good. Okay. Thanks for that. That was episode, what did we say? 133?
133.
On vibe coding, software that writes software. Thanks for that. That either generated a load of thoughts in your head that you're now creatively whirring away, trying to think, how can I use that? Or it left you completely cold and you're not bothered about it at all. Either way, someone else you know might well be in the former category. So ping it onto them. Let them see what reaction they get. They may thank you because you just transformed their world. Thanks a lot if you do so. And in the meantime, good luck with your business.